Good afternoon. I'm called the Knox County Commission for Monday, October 28th at 5 p.m. to order. Seated to my right is Vice Chairwoman Kim Frazier and Law Director Mike Moyers. Seated to my left is Ms. Kim Ellis and Ms. Haley Evans, the Knox County Clerk's Office. I see a few elected officials, Sheriff Spangler, Superintendent John Ryswick, Property Assessor Phil Ballard, Randy Smith. Am I missing any other elected officials? Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Rawls.
Here.
Commissioner Darrett.
Present.
Commissioner Oster.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson.
Here.
Commissioner Russell.
Here.
Commissioner Hill. Here. Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Thompson.
Here.
Commissioner Fox.
Here.
Commissioner Jay.
Here.
Commissioner Frazier.
Present.
All 11 members are present.
Thank you. I will now turn it over to Commissioner Russell for our devotion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to do a short reading of a passage before the prayer. It is from Matthew 22, beginning in verse 34. Hearing that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, the Pharisees got together. One of them, an expert in the law, tested him with this question: "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments."
Thank you. I'll now turn it over to Commissioner Rawls for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we're at the amendments to the agenda. Our additions are number 12, 34, 38, and 53. Our deferrals to November is number 35, 49, and 51. Our withdrawal is 44. Our non-consent is 36 through 38, 41 through 43, 46 through 48, number 50, and 52 to 53. I will make a note that I am moving number 46 and number 47 up. They will be after the honorary resolutions before the presentation. Again, additions 12, 34, 38, and 53, deferred to November 35, 49, and 51, withdrawals number 44, non-consent 36 through 38, 41 through 43, 46 through 48, 50, 52 through 53. Do I have a motion to set the agenda?
Second.
I have a motion made by Commissioner Lee and a second by Commissioner Frazier. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. I will now look to entertain a motion to approve the education and general government consent.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Durrett, second by Commissioner Jay. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Madam Clerk, please read the first item.
Okay, the first item is item number 36. It's Resolution 102. It's a resolution memorializing Christy Darlene Moore Kirk for her service to the Knoxville community.
Thank you.
I motion that we adopt this resolution.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Rawls, a second by Commissioner Jay. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. All
Aye.
opposed? The ayes have it. Commissioner Rawls, the floor is yours.
I'd just like to start by saying that we're recognizing Christy because, one, a little bit before I read the resolution, you know how we have some really great people in our community, and this person from the day I met her was always had a bright smile. She always, hey, Mr. Damon, lady, you're older than me. You don't have to Mr. me. Mr. Damon is, no. You know, but she was just so awesome. She had a great smile. She was just a wonderful person. And losing her was a tremendous hit to our community. And so here, I'll read the resolution set forth. Whereas the Knox County Commission, along with the entire Knoxville community, wishes to honor and recognize the life and legacy of Christy Darlene Moore Kirk, who was born on September 14th, 1970, in Knoxville, Tennessee, and passed away, leaving away an indelible mark on her family, friends, and broader community. Whereas Christy Kirk was a devoted mother to her beloved children, Taylor, Katie Kirk, and Christian Leorance
Yes.
Kirk. Thank you.
Sorry.
And they're a family full of educators, as you can tell. Leorance Kirk, who was the center of her world, whereas Christy was a graduate of Halls High School, class of 1988, earned her bachelor's degree from the University of Tennessee and her master's from Lincoln Memorial. And these academic accomplishments helped her become a passionate and dedicated advocate for children, education, and well-being. Whereas over the past 20 years, Christy served the students of Knox County through her dedicated work with Project Grad, a role she embraced with passion, integrity, and love. As part of the original Project Grad team, Christy helped lay the foundation for the past 2 decades and generations of adolescent scholars, bringing hope and opportunity to countless young minds. Whereas Christy's numerous roles within Project Grad include as campus manager at Spring Hill Elementary, student and family support coach, career access coach, college access team lead, and most recently, family and community engagement manager, demonstrated her unwavering commitment to creating pathways for success for students from kindergarten through post-secondary education. Christy Kirk's legacy as a community advocate extends beyond her professional life, as she served on various boards and contributed to numerous community projects enriching the lives of those around her. Her service was not only passionate, but deeply personal, as she is known as being a bonus mom to many. Whereas Christy's warm-heartedness, infectious kindness, and deep faith left an everlasting impact on her colleagues, friends, and all who had the privilege to know her. She found joy in life's simple pleasures. With a love for music, great outdoors, she shared moments of happiness with her friends and family. Whereas Christy is now reunited in heaven with her husband, Stephen Kirk, her mother, Dorothy Moore, her sister, Pamela Moore, and her great-grandparents. Yet she remains in the hearts of her father, Will Tom Moore, her children, extended family, and countless lives she's touched throughout the community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by a commission of Knox County as follows. The Knox County Commission hereby recognizes and celebrates the life and legacy of Christy Darlene Moore Kirk, whose dedication to her children and families of Knoxville will continue to inspire future generations.
Good evening. County Commission, thank you.
Thank you for honoring my mother. On behalf of her and the rest of the Kirk and the Moore family, we like to say thank you. My mom was a pillar of the community, and her favorite title was Mom. She always made us her first choice, and that I will always be grateful for, to know that unconditional love. For 20 years, she loved her students, our students. She poured into us all. She had a warmth about her that she could just look at you and you could just feel comforted and at peace. My mother was the strongest woman I have known to date. She will always be my person. She could bring peace when her world may have been cloudy, and she reminded me often that working in the line of service, I'm a fellow educator, for those who don't know, you don't always get the thanks, but you do it with your heart because it's the right thing to do. Give me a second. One of the last things that she gave me was a pen, and it said, "Be proud of the person you are, be proud of the work you do and the difference that you make." May we always be proud of the work we do and treat people with kindness, and most importantly, love like Christy. So for her service, we gave out armbands. I'm gonna leave Damon some if you all would like some. They say love like Christy. And I just wanted to thank you all for honoring the legacy of my mother. And every time you look at a butterfly, or every time you see the sunset or the sunrise, I always treat people with kindness, because you never know what people are fighting. Thank you.
Picture?
Thank you, Commissioner Rawls. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
The next item is number 37. It's Resolution 103, which is recognizing October 28th, 2024 as National First Responders Day in Knox County.
Motion to approve.
Motion on the floor by Commissioner Frazier, second by Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. And Mayor Jacobs came in after I recognized elected officials, so welcome, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If you are a first responder, would you please join us at the podium? Just come up so we can see you. Come on. Don't be shy. Come on in. We have representatives here from Knox County Sheriff's Office, Karnes Fire Department, Rural Metro Fire Department, AMR Ambulance Service, Knox County Rescue, Lifeguard, KFD, Seymour Fire Department, and the E911 Center. It is such a privilege for Mayor Jacobs and I to present this honorary resolution to recognize and celebrate the extraordinary dedication and courage of our first responders. On our worst days, these are the men and women who step forward. In the very moment of our crisis, they are our help and our hope, and we are deeply grateful for God's calling upon their lives. Now I'm going to read the resolution. Whereas first responders include professional and volunteer law enforcement officers, firefighters, emergency medical service personnel, search and rescue teams, paramedics, 911 dispatchers, and other emergency personnel who bravely and selflessly risk their own safety to protect the lives of others every day. And whereas first responders are our first line of defense against threats to the public safety, and they stand ready to respond 24 hours a day to ensure the safety and well-being of others. And whereas first responders undergo extensive education and training in order to achieve the expertise required to respond to emergency situations. And whereas October 28th, 2024 is observed as National First Responders Day, celebrating the service and sacrifice of all first responders in the United States. And whereas on this annual Day of Appreciation, the Knox County Commission wishes to honor and commend all first responders in Knox County who courageously safeguard the health, safety, and well-being of our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Commission of Knox County as follows. The Knox County Commission hereby recognizes National First Responders Day on October 28, 2024, extends its deepest gratitude to all first responders serving Knox County, and encourages all Knox County citizens to observe this day by showing first responders and their families how much we appreciate their dedicated service and substantial contributions to our community. Be it further resolved that this resolution is to take effect from and after its passage as provided by the Charter of Knox County, Tennessee, the public welfare requiring it. Please join us in showing our appreciation for their service to our communities across our great county. I would love to get a photo. It might be a little tight, but I think it's worth a shot. What do y'all say? All right. Would you all please join us on stage for a picture? And to all the agencies, you will receive a copy of the resolution.
Thank you, Commissioner Frazier and Mayor Jacobs. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item number 38, Resolution 104, is honoring the Smoky Mountain Hiking Club in celebration of their 100th anniversary.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jay and a second by Commissioner Frazier. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. Commissioner Jay, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know all of you, every day we drive through our mountains and our natural beauty around us here in Knox County, are thankful that we live right here in East Tennessee. And I'm proud to welcome some friends today who have spent 100 years in their club. Not these two gentlemen. I wouldn't. They were not here during the founding of this organization, but they have spent 100 years celebrating and honoring and making sure that we live in such a beautiful place and that our natural beauty is well taken care of. I'm excited today to welcome members to the leadership team of the Smoky Mountains Hiking Club, who is celebrating their 100th anniversary as a club right here in Knox County. And as you all know, we do a lot of milestones that are 20 years, 30 years, even a 50 or 60 every once in a while. But I don't think I've ever been a part of a 100th anniversary of an organization in our own backyard. So I welcome our members here and our club members, and then I'll read the resolution, hear a little bit from them on what they do, and then please get a picture afterwards. The resolution reads as, whereas on October 19th, 1924, 20 hikers climbed Mount LeConte for an overnight stay, and while resting on cliff tops, agreed that the magnificent mountain experience should be shared by others. And whereas soon thereafter, those same hikers decided to formally establish the Smoky Mountains Hiking Club, and then has been in continuous existence for a century. And whereas the Smoky Mountains Hiking Club's mission is to develop opportunities for the enjoyment of the outdoors, to encourage and teach outdoor ethics along with wilderness and wildlife conservation, to acquaint club members with the beauty and grandeur of our cherished outdoor hills and mountains, and to help maintain the 101.9 miles of the Appalachian Trail through the Great Smoky Mountains. And whereas club founders and leaders have included City of Knoxville and Knox County leaders who played a prominent role in the founding of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And whereas the Smoky Mountains Hiking Club boasts more than 800 members from across the state and across the nation, while always welcoming new hikers to join in their adventures and important advocacy work. And whereas club members continue to lead local hikes along trails within the Iams Nature Center, the Urban Wilderness, and Knox County's very own and very awesome House Mountain. So therefore be it resolved by the Knox County Commission that the Knox County Commission hereby honors the Smoky Mountains Hiking Club on their 100th birthday and centennial anniversary, and celebrates their dedicated service to promoting and preserving the natural beauty of East Tennessee and the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. Be it further resolved, a copy of this resolution to be presented to the Smoky Mountains Hiking Club, and that this resolution is to take effect from and after its passage as provided by the Charter of Knox County, Tennessee, the public welfare requiring it. Come on up. Say if you will. Just introduce yourself.
To here, to the podium. Yeah. Hello, my name is Larry Johnson. I've been a member of the club not since 1924, but since 2015. The proclamation really gave you an overview of how long the club's been a part of the community and will continue for the next 100 years. I encourage everybody that's interested in hiking. We have a great website, and we list our hikes. They're led by very competent hikers. It's at smhc.com, or if you just Google Smoky Mountain Hiking Club, you'll find the website. Thank you very much for the honor, and I'll turn it over to Philip.
I'm Philip Royer. I'm past president of the hiking club, and I want to thank the commission very much for this honor. You know, we've spent 10 months now in 2024 celebrating our anniversary. We've revived some of the old celebrations that the club used to have, like square dancing and fish fries, and we've also had a program of hiking 100 miles called a challenge hike. People can get a badge by doing that during this year. We've done a lot of fun things. We had a big banquet just a week or so ago. So this resolution by the commission is very welcome and kind of puts a cap on our celebration year. We look forward to the next 100 years, and you know, we're faced with a lot of challenges. The huge visitation numbers in the park, conservation issues, environmental issues that are increasingly facing us in the park, but we also look forward to having a lot more fun. Our hikes are weekly hikes As Larry said, they're led by competent leaders who've scouted the hikes. They're open to the public. So we always encourage new folks to join us. And we especially need new folks to join us in our maintenance activities on the Appalachian Trail. Like you said, 101 miles, that's a lot of miles to take care of. So we just appreciate the recognition and appreciate Commissioner Jay for helping us through the process. Thank you very much.
How much for Commissioner Jay's phone? All right. There you are.
Thank you. Before we move on to the next item, I just wanted to thank the commissioners for wearing pink in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So thank you for doing that. This will be the first appointment for the new commissioners. So I was just going to run through how we do the appointments, and then we will get into it. The clerk will call the roll, and as your name is called, you may nominate a candidate or pass. Once we've gone down the roll, the chair will look for a motion to cease nominations. The clerk will call the roll again. This time you will say the name of the candidate in which you wish to vote. If a candidate receives a majority, that person will be appointed to the position. If there's no majority, the candidate with the lowest number of votes will drop off, and we will repeat the process. Does anybody have any questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please read the next item.
It's item number 46 is Resolution 112. It's appointing an individual to the Knox County Sheriff's Office Employees Merit System Board of Directors. Term expires September 30th, 2027.
Thank you. Let me once again introduce the applicants. It is Mr. Don Johnson, Mr. Ashley Williams, and Dr. Williamson. So we will start in District 1, please.
Commissioner Rawls.
Do you want my nomination?
Right.
Okay, I will nominate Ashley Williams.
Commissioner Darrett.
Pass.
Commissioner Oster.
Dr. Williamson.
Commissioner Jackson.
Pass.
Commissioner Russell.
Pass.
Commissioner Hill.
Dan Johnson.
Commissioner Lee.
If their name is already, do we just pass? Okay, I pass.
Commissioner Thompson.
Pass.
Commissioner Fox.
Pass.
Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Frazier.
Pass.
Okay.
All right. So all three are on. This time when the roll is called, you will vote for the person that you wish to vote for. Okay? Starting with Commissioner Derrick.
Ashley Williams.
Commissioner Oster.
Dr. Williamson.
Commissioner Jackson.
Before I vote, let me just clarify. You meant Dr. Bruce Williams' son?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Bruce Williamson is my vote.
Commissioner Russell,
Dan Johnson.
Commissioner Hill, Commissioner Lee,
Dan Johnson.
Commissioner Thompson,
Dan Johnson.
Commissioner Fox,
Dan Johnson.
Commissioner Jay,
Ashley Williams.
Commissioner Frazier,
Dan Johnson.
Commissioner Rawls,
Ashley Williams.
Okay. Okay. Johnson has 6. Okay. Ashley Williams has 3. And Dr. Williamson has 2. So we can just move to Mr. Johnson. So that's the majority, isn't it? Yes.
So the majority vote goes to Mr. Johnson. So congratulations, Mr. Johnson. Are you here? There you are. I thought I saw you come in. Now, the clerk is going to read the resolution with your name attached. Thank you for your willingness to serve, Mr. Williams and Dr. Williamson. Thank you for your willingness to serve in Knox County, and I hope that you will apply for another position. Thank you.
Okay, this is Resolution 112. Again, it's appointing Don Johnson to the Knox County Sheriff's Office Employees Merit System Board of Directors. The term expires September 30th, 2027. And I'm sorry, it's Dan Johnson.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion by Commissioner Frazier, a second by Commissioner Jay. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Next item, this will be an easy one because there's only one candidate, Mr. Biddle. Clerk, read the next item, please.
This is item.
We can move to appoint by acclamation. Do I have a motion to move?
You still want me to read it?
Okay. Yeah.
Biddle,
B-I-T-T-E-L. Yeah.
Okay. First name?
Michael.
This is Resolution 113. It's accepting the resignation of Michael Covington from the Knox County Ethics Committee and approving the appointment of Michael Biddle to complete the unfulfilled term of Mr. Covington on the Ethics Committee, which term expires on October 31st, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Jay, a second by Commissioner Lee. Any discussion? Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to simply thank Mr. Covington for his years of service and leadership on the Knox County Ethics Committee. I had the privilege of serving alongside him, and he's exactly the type of folks that we hope will inspire others to apply for appointed positions such as this. So thank you, Mr. Covington.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't see you out there, Mr. Covington. I echo. Thank you very much. We have a motion on the floor and a second. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Biddle, thank you for your willingness to serve Knox County, and you are now a Knox County Ethics Committee member. I'll get it out in a minute. Thank you. We'll now move on to the next item,
which is item number 39, presentation from Friends of the Library.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. I'm Sharon Smith, and 3109 T Lane, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Friends of the Library, it is my privilege to be here to thank you all for your support of the libraries. Our mission is to support libraries and to foster a love of books and reading in the Knox County. We've been doing this since 1970. I have left you some information, an annual report from last year, but really my job here today is just to brag on our libraries and the staff and the wonderful things that they do for our community here in Knox County. All our volunteers are just privileged to work with all these people. And again, we appreciate your support and just look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Seeing none, thank you so much for coming down and giving the report this evening.
Oh, you're welcome, and enjoy the treats that we brought to you.
Everybody has started enjoying them, so we
Okay.
appreciate it. Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to say that our Knox County Libraries got me through parenting two very young boys. So thank you very much for your programs and your service.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Item number 40 is a presentation of the quarterly Fire and Technical Rescue Committee report by Director Brent Seymour.
Hello.
Hello, Commission. Thank you, Madam Chair. Brent Seymour, 505 Summer Place, 37902. Just to give you folks an update on our quarterly fire and technical rescue report. You'll see it's a little bit different this time. It's actually a 60-day report this time instead of 90 because we've separated from the AMR report that's given every quarter. So we stayed with them for a little bit of, just because we felt like the AMR report and our report kind of went hand in hand there when the.
Could you speak up just a little bit?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Perfect. Thank you.
The report kind of went hand in hand there when the contract was first awarded, and so now we've came back to our schedule. So this is a 60-day report for you to look at this time. You'll see our call volume's down just a little bit for the 60 days. We're usually about 2,000 runs across the county for a 60-day period in all three of our jurisdictions. A little bit less than that now. I think some of that has to do with the coding that the 911 center is doing now, and some of the other things that have been put in place, kind of arranging around the dispatch procedure. So that's actually a good thing for us that the call volume seems to be down a little. You'll see our report for the Karnes Fire Department, numerous training opportunities for their staff this quarter. It involved a lot of technical rescue things, vehicle extrication, and some swiftwater training that our Karnes partners do out there to keep the Karnes community safe. You'll see Knox County Rescue September. You know, we may not have done a little bit in the month of September, being sarcastic there a little bit. So Knox County Rescue did deploy up to the Northeast during the hurricane event. 23 members providing aid for 4 days, participated in rescues, searching homes, looking at debris, looking at vehicles to make sure there were no folks inside there. That's a very tedious task. That's a very arduous task. Those kind of things take a lot of time, a lot of resources, and they're very emotionally and physically consuming on the folks that have to do that. I often equate some of that to you're going into somewhere, you're expecting to find something, but you're afraid to find something, and so you're continually questioning, what am I looking at? What am I feeling? What am I going to see? Is it going to startle me? I know that kind of sounds very hypothetical and very kind of petty, but you know, doing that for about 3 decades, locating a victim is never routine. So we appreciate those folks going up there as well. Rural Metro completed 2 training exercises in August. You've got a picture of their man and machine and their live burn. They actually had an acquired structure in Farragut. I did get to go out. I didn't get to participate. My mind tells me to put on gear and crawl down a hallway, but my body says no. I can't do that anymore like I used to, but training was very beneficial for a lot of their new folks. The man versus machine, we're getting into a lot of harvest activities in our farmlands, our farming communities. So it's always good to refresh and get up to speed on those. Seymour Fire Department welcomed 8 new members in the month of August. They completed their 16-hour training program that allowed them to function on the fire scene. So just because you become a volunteer firefighter doesn't mean you can put on gear and crawl inside of a house. There's some state firefighting commission regulations that say you have to complete certain amounts and certain levels of training before you're even allowed to participate on the fire ground, even if that means not doing anything what we call interior or crawling into the fire. Just to participate and be seen, be physically present on the fire ground requires a certain level of training. So they were able to get their new members through that. They participated in a Ride to Remember for September 11th and hosted several community training and church training events to how to provide help should something catastrophic happen before help arrive. So training church folks how to do first aid and things like that. We all know how our environment is and the climate and things happening that we don't want to happen, but we've got partners out there training folks to basically take care of the initial issues until the help arrives. October is hugely busy for the fire department. As you guys may or may not know, that's Fire Prevention Month. So a lot of our organizations were out this last month doing a lot of public education events. They were doing a lot of schools. We had some safety house events, and then, of course, some of the training that we did to educate folks on how to stay fire safe for the month. So we're pretty proud of that. That's a work that you never really know if you've made a positive impact. Very seldom will you find someone who said, hey, our house caught on fire and our 4-year-old, or we practiced an escape drill just 2 months ago, and we knew how to, I mean, very, very rarely do we hear from the fire service side that something we did a year ago made an impact on a family. So when we do get to hear something like that, that's very rewarding. So I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Jay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Seymour, we're about 9 months into our new contract with AMR, but about a year from really robust discussion. Could you give us an update on where our 911 team is on taking over dispatch and, more importantly, managing the data?
Well, I've been privy, Commissioner, to some of those conversations. I hate to speak for Director Anders. He was here a little bit earlier, so I don't see him now. I wonder if Mr. Vandevate may have an update on that. I hate to give you the wrong date or the wrong information for our EMS dispatch partners.
Thank you, Commissioner Jay. Madam Chair, in speaking with Director Anders about this very topic last week, he's anticipating sometime towards the end of January, after the first of the year. The contract provides an 18-month window to do so, and it was executed in February of this year, so well ahead of schedule. And I certainly don't want to get ahead of our colleagues at AMR, and they'll be back to tell their own story, but I can tell you that the numbers are absolutely contract compliant and fabulous for the last several months. So we're really pleased with the overall trend line and how the contract is working.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Seymour, our second question is, could you update this commission on the sale of Rural Metro? Tell us a little bit about the company who bought them, and tell us if there'll be any changes to our current fire protection that the citizens can rely on.
You know, I wish I could tell you more information. Like you guys, I found out today that has occurred and is in the process of being finalized. Chief Devlin was here earlier too. I wished I had asked him to stay. And again, I don't want to speak for the chief. I don't know a great deal of information about the company that is purchasing Rural Metro Fire. What Chief Devlin and I have talked about is operations normal for the fire service. You should see, our citizens should see no change in the fire protection delivered. I think a lot of that you will see folks will see in the office as opposed to the citizens on the street. But again, I'm learning about the information just as you folks are. And then Mr. Vandevate may have some words.
Sorry. I can add just a little bit to Commissioner Jay. Brindley Fire Apparatus is part of Sovereign Capital Group. It's the equity firm that is going to complete the transaction. They are the largest buyer and refurbisher of used fire apparatus in the nation. They work extensively in this space. It's really internally the first time we've seen a buyer come along that we feel like was a good fit and we feel really good about. So we think it's a good direction for the company and a good direction for the community. So as Director Seymour said, right now they promise no change, but we think that this is a good fit, particularly as compared to prior suitors that have taken a look at the company that had no background in fire service whatsoever. This is the first one to come along that understands the business and can really contribute. So we think it's a good direction.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vandevate, do you mind to give your name and for the record?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Dwight Vandevate, 400 West Main Avenue, also known as the guy that keeps interrupting poor Director Seymour.
Thank you. Commissioner Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Will the name stay Rural Metro or will the name change?
Well, actually, a discussion we had, Chief Devlin anticipates the name. None of the none of the branding changing, maybe a logo change or something like that. Now, he wasn't sure about that, but you should still see Rural Metro, the yellow trucks, green, depending on where you're from.
Thank you.
And things like that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Seymour? Thank you so much for coming down and sharing the information. And I want to say I appreciate the mayor for putting together with Mission of Hope a very large turnout for canned goods and items that needed to go up to Newport, and also for the mayor and for our staff directors that also sent people up to help with their neighbors. So I appreciate that.
Thank you very much for that. Now, just a reminder that, and I want to remind the Commission about the EOC tour
Yes.
coming in a few weeks, whenever the schedule allows, hosted by our EMA director and his staff. So if you know, that's a great opportunity to get out and ask questions and just see how the system operates.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you again. Madam Clerk, next item.
Public forum, agenda items only.
There's no one signed up for public forum. Next item.
Approval of minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion made by Commissioner Durrett and a second by Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item number 41 is drives and roads. Consideration of the acceptance of new county roads. A is Mistywood Road, B, Hollyberry Drive, C, Honeytree Lane, D, Thornapple Drive. They're all located in Hannah's Grove, District 7. E is Gable Run Drive, F, Cedar Branch Road, G, Cliff Branch Lane, H, Ridgegate Lane, I, Rolling Hills Lane, J, Saddle Path Lane, K, Orange Blossom Lane, L, Maple Springs Lane. They're all located in Greenbrook, District 6. M is Oakwood Hills Lane, N, Redwood Burrow Lane, O, Maple Knot Lane, P, Tulip Polar Lane, Q, Willow Branch Lane, all located in Bakertown Woods, District 3. R, Hartstall Drive, S, Golden Gate Road, T, Gallant Lane, U, Fresh Garden Drive, V, Aromatic Astor Road, located in, and W is Jade Pasture Lane. They're all located in Shannon Valley Farms, District 8.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jay, a second by Commissioner Thompson. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, just to clarify, P, I believe that's Tulip Poplar Lane.
Yeah, it looks like a misspelling.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Seeing no discussion, all in favor, aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item 42, consideration of the acceptance of new county roads. A is Dempsey Road in Campbell Creek, Phase 3, District 6. B, River Island Boulevard, River Island, Unit 1, District 8. C, Blue Ash Lane, located in Shadowbrook, Unit 1, District 6. D, Lourdes Lane in Turnberry Subdivision, Unit 3, District 5. E is Willow View Lane. F, Evening Ridge Lane. G, Riverwalk Lane, all located in Hollins at North Shore, District 5. H, Remagen Lane, and I, Marston Lane, located in Wildwood Gardens, District 9. J, Ruby Jane Lane. K, Andrew Siegel Road. L, Grace Nicely Lane, located in Christian Springs, District 8. M, Fox Ridge Lane. N, Whippoorwill Road. O, Spruce Hollow Lane. P, Wade Crest Lane, all located in Vista Hills, District 7. Q, Zachary Point in Zachary Point's District 7. R, Wyndham Point Lane. S, Ashton Point Lane. T, Willow Creek Point Lane. And U, Wood Creek Lane, all located in Wyndham Point, District 6.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Jay, second by Commissioner Durrett. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item 43, line item transfers, total amount of $928,213.03.
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Jay, second by Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye. Aye, all opposed. The ayes have it. Next item, please.
We have 205 notary public applications.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Durrett, second by Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item 45 is a spread of record, the Criminal, General Sessions, Criminal Division, and Fourth Circuit Court Clerk's Office Teammate Handbook. No action. Okay. Item 48 is Resolution 403. It's approving a contract with Inspire Placemaking Collective Incorporated in the amount of $437,080 for the creation of a unified development ordinance.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Jay, second by Commissioner Durrett. Any discussion? I see Mayor Jacobs, and I'd like you to come down and address this item, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, 400 Main Street. First, I want to thank you all for taking time to meet with the team to discuss the contract and the scope of work. When we started the process of creating a brand new comprehensive plan, we knew this was our next step. Without a unified development ordinance, the plan that we worked so hard on just doesn't get implemented. I ask for your support in passing this contract with Inspire so we can continue to improve our processes, update an outdated zoning code, and create more transparency and predictability for all of you and our constituents moving forward. Sarah with Inspire is here with us today. She will be the project manager and is here to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Jacobs. Ma'am, if you don't mind to step at the podium. If you just want to give us a little synopsis, and then we'll open the floor to commissioners for questions.
Sure, thank you so much. Again, my name is Sarah Sinatra. I'm Vice President of Inspire Placemaking Collective. I'm really excited to be here. I've been working with your staff since the presentation. Obviously, we submitted on the RFP. And went through the process. Just a brief little bit about us. Our firm was actually started only about 2 years ago. We spun off from a large engineering firm. Very typical of planning and landscape architecture firms. We were pretty much perched on the side of an engineering firm, and we decided to actually purchase our landscape architecture and planning divisions. So it was really almost like a reverse acquisition to allow us to really focus on our core practice, which is codes, UDOs, and comprehensive plans throughout the Southeast. We now have 22 planners within 2 states. So we have a large pool of planners to pull from for major projects. We also have landscape architects and creative folks that actually support our practice and help us create graphics and so forth to make your codes more usable and really user-friendly. The point of going through the exercise is not only to go through and make the code consistent with the comprehensive plan, but also a really predictable document that anyone can pick up because it really is a regulatory and technical document, and we want to make it more livable, useful for everybody, whether it's the public, whether it's a developer looking at it, so there's actual predictability so that they understand what the rules of the game are, and also for staff for interpretation purposes also. So really happy to answer any questions and look forward to the opportunity to work with y'all.
Thank you very much. And we also have staff down here up front, so if you have questions for our staff, again, like Mayor Jacobs said, we all had the opportunity to sit down, talk to our staff, go over the UDO. So if there's additional questions on top of that, tonight is the time to get your questions answered. So we'll go to Commissioner Jay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When we went through the advanced Knox process and developed our first comprehensive land use plan in 20-plus years, there was a very extensive public process to that. Will there be a similar public process to updating the UDO, given it is a obviously highly technical. We're sort of in the next level of weeds, but we also still want to make sure that the public is engaged in what eventually becomes our code and our development teeth, if you will.
We included a large public engagement component to this process, and the intention is not to really duplicate anything that's gone on. A lot of times you get like engagement fatigue, and we didn't want that to be an issue. We didn't want it to be, well, why are we going through this again when, you know, we've already talked about vision. The purpose of this document is to take what was initially part of that overall vision and really tone it down into specific topics that we can be able to take and bring forward into the UDO. So it's to absolutely engage the public, but really more on specific overall topics that will come out of the crafting of the ordinance.
And thank you for that. Your team was not involved with the original advanced Knox process, correct?
No, sir.
After completing that process, having reviewed it, what's your professional opinion on where do we stand, and are we ready for the next step?
The overall, looking through the comprehensive plan, you know, it's really a policy document. You're creating policy, you're setting the vision. When you're preparing a UDO, that's where you actually get the implementation of the comprehensive plan. So it's definitely that the county is really, you know, and the planning team is really taking the next step in the right way of going forward and adopting the ordinances that will eventually, you know, implement the comprehensive plan. So yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just have a few questions. First, maybe you can educate me. Why is it called a uniform developed ordinance? The word uniform in particular.
There's really not a specific reason. I can probably ask staff to answer that, but it could be called a land development ordinance. It could be called a unified development ordinance. It could be called all kinds of things. Typically, it's because you're taking not just your zoning ordinance. The zoning ordinance is one component. There are a number of sections of the ordinance. Right now, you have them in a number of appendices or additions and so forth. So it's really unifying them into one specific code so that it really becomes a more useful document. And that's really not unusual in any place that we've worked or throughout, really. I mean, I've mostly worked in the Southeast, but in the Southeast, where you've got all these different ordinances, and a lot of times they might be reactionary. So it might be that, you know, something has gone on and now we're going to prepare an ordinance to supplement rather than really incorporate it in. So it's really to take a look at all of these different sections of your ordinance and unify them into one.
Thank you. How did your firm select Cannon and Cannon to be involved in this project with you?
So interesting. Typically, when we look to team, we reach out to local partners. They actually reached out to us. Which surprised me at first, but they, because they had known of our deep knowledge in code writing and in comprehensive planning. So they actually reached out to us and said, are you going to be pursuing this? Because they knew I was working on the Blount County Comprehensive Plan, which is just wrapping up, and I've done some other work locally. So they reached out and asked, and I said yes, and I think it would really make sense to have engineers on the team to be able to review, you know, the portions of it that would be applicable.
Thank you. How did you identify Mr. Mullins as the attorney to be involved in this project?
That was us. We reached out because we started to look at attorneys locally that had done work, and we took my firm and my group particularly. We don't do private sector work, we only do municipal work, but we really find that because part of this RFP process was to include a land use attorney, we felt that it should be somebody who is working kind of on both sides, so sees the development side and understands also where there could be some potential challenges within the existing code. We wanted an attorney because they are not doing the policy, because they are not crafting the language, we are crafting it along with Cannon and Cannon on the public side. We wanted somebody that would be reviewing it from that lens, thinking of it from, you know, all aspects, be looking at it from any federal regulations, state regulations, and any potential conflicts within the ordinance. So we also liked that he had experience with University of Tennessee as a law professor. So we felt thinking about it in that context of really reviewing these type of ordinances, that was really important to us.
Now, when I was speaking with staff, I was informed that you all are considering also contracting with another attorney to be a part of this project. It may be more appropriate to ask staff that, but.
Jim Snowden, 205 West Baxter. Yes, Commissioner Fox, that's something actually that we're doing outside of the contract we have with Inspire, so that'll be a totally separate third-party agreement. And there was another firm that submitted on the RFQ that had an attorney out of Nashville that really has no touch points in anywhere in our development community, so that would be the independent third party that we were going to look toward.
Okay. Thank you, Director Snowden. Could you relate the vision that you are proceeding with when you're crafting this unified, sorry, I said uniform, thank you, Commissioner Jay, for correcting me on that, with this, this unified, or this UDO, what kind of vision do you have?
Well, it won't be our vision for sure. What our plan is to thoroughly go through advanced Knox. What we do with our process, and we went through this a little bit in our RFQ submittal, we actually take what's in your comprehensive plan and do like a matrix that says where we could address that within the UDO. Sometimes, because what's in advanced Knox, like any comprehensive plan, is very expansive, and some of it will not be adopted or codified within that ordinance, but if it is, we'd like to flag it, and those might be sections that we will be meeting with the public on. You know, it might be an item that is kind of wide, expansive, and you know, we don't have a ton of direction on. So, and it might be something that potentially is controversial. I mean, those are things that come up in a vision document. We'd like to be able to put those in front of the public and say, you know, what are your thoughts on this specifically? And we've included some, what we're calling like open houses. So it would be like more activity level where we can talk to the public as well. We would like, you know, those are the ones we might have that are a little bit more specific to the public. So it certainly wouldn't be our vision. It would be our goal is to go through and implement the comp plan, but it would be by the direction of the public. So once you go through that large comprehensive plan process you did and people give feedback, things often change once they start hearing, you know, how it gets implemented in a zoning code. So we'll give them the overall concept and show how it would get potentially adopted within the code, and that might give people, you know, more information. They might well say, you know, give us more feedback and say, well, it's not really what we were looking for. This is more what we were looking for. So we want to give them that forum.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I love that you brought you know, the vision. Now, it's not necessarily your all's vision. It would be the Knox County's vision, the residents here. And so when I go back to this old meme where you're looking at your house, and no offense to the property assessor who is here in the audience, but you know, when you're looking at your house, you see it a certain way. Your property assessor sees it a certain way. The bank sees it another way. And the person you're trying to sell it to sees it another way. So it's the same house, right? But everybody sees it a little differently. And so everybody has a different vision. And so when we're looking at who all's at the table, preliminary, because obviously there will be some public input. And this may be a better question for staff. As far as the steering committee, who's putting, I guess, the the mason work, I guess setting the foundation for this. Do we know who all is on the steering committee or will be on the steering committee, and I guess what their backgrounds are?
Mandy Benedict, 400 West Main Street. We have not chosen steering committee members yet.
Okay. Okay. I would just, request that, we get a broad swath of all those that have investment. I know that many of us in the community enjoyed watching Mr. Hubbs on the Advanced Knox, the planning committee there, and his perspective. We certainly appreciate that representation, and look forward to moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hill?
Thank you. I just want to applaud everyone for the work done so far. And no kidding, I know with risk of leaving someone out that Mandy and Amy and Jim, that you all have just been spot on for this for years, really. And I actually remember when this whole thing was first even broached by our county mayor before I was even on commission, trying to just get a whole new growth plan launched. So the fact that we're at this point now, I'm delighted. I cannot wait for you to get started, and I cannot wait for you to finish. So thank you, staff, for what you've done.
Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to echo Commissioner Hill's sentiments, this is something that, I have been advocating for nearly a decade as a citizen and now as an elected official, really being an advocate all across our county for intentional development with coordinated infrastructure. And this is an exciting time for Knox County. This is where we really get to get into the weeds of things and provide that detailed technical feedback on implementation measures that will inform updates to all the code elements. So those things like, the zoning ordinances and the subdivision regs and the building standards and decision criteria, variances, protecting open spaces and conservation. Those are the things that, they make Knox County great. And we're going to really work hard with the team and through this process and with our constituents to make sure that their voices are heard and we gather as much information from our constituents as possible, because they're really excited about it too. I've talked to folks all across this county, and this is something that's really needed in Knox County. So again, thank you to the leadership team. Thank you for Mayor Jacobs for initiating the update of our plans and our zoning ordinances, and I'm looking forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? I would like to say for any commissioners, when we went through the plan recently, that there is a very robust public involvement, and our staff really makes sure that people are heard at open houses, social media, any kind of information that we can get out there. So it's a great time for the public to be involved, and there is no shortage of them reaching out, making sure that our community is involved. So for that, I greatly appreciate. Commissioner Fox.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I make a substitute motion that we defer the consideration of this item until the November meeting. My basis for this, Madam Chair, is the staff have been working on this since June. That's when the submission was provided, and they've had a considerable amount of time to think about the 7 different responses they received to the RFQ. And we've had very little time, and we're actually the policy-making branch of Knox County government, and I would like a little more time to think about these issues, because I separate this from a construction contract or something like that, where there is no policy involved in in a construction contract. But zoning and land use, it's like all else arises from zoning and land use. And I'm not saying that Inspire Placemaking Collective is not the right organization for this job. I'm just asking that we have more time to consider it because it's only been on the agenda for a relatively short period of time. I think, in fact, that some of these documents were not attached to the original agenda, as I recall from Ms. Russell's posting on the commissioner form. So that is my motion, that we defer this for until November. Thank you.
We have a substitute motion by Commissioner Fox. Do we have a second? Substitute motion dies for a lack of the second. Commissioner Durrett?
My comments were on the substitute motion.
Okay. Commissioner Thompson?
Yes, this is to staff and, well, to you as well. But to kind of echo what Commissioner Frazier had said, this will be a robust process, and I know you all have a mountain to climb ahead of you over the next several months to over a year. So if there's something that you all need from us for public engagement, if there's something that you feel is not moving as well as it should to help in the process, please reach out and let us know. Because we get one shot at this to make it right, and then we have to live with it for decades. So, yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Seeing no other discussion, we have a motion on the floor to approve by Commissioner Jay, a second by Commissioner Durrett. All in favor, aye. I'm sorry, we've already had discussion. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item number 50, Resolution 502, is approving the Knox County Grants and Community Development Policy and Procedure Manual.
Motion to approve.
I've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jay, a second by Commissioner Durrett. Any discussion? Commissioner Russell, or Commissioner Jay, were you? Okay, Commissioner Russell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I actually had some questions in regards to this. Is there someone to?
It looks like Jenny Holden.
Jenny Holden, 400 West Main Street.
Thank you. I guess one of my first questions in regards to this is what the purpose, the original purpose was in drafting this. It was quite extensive, and to be honest, I hadn't, it was so long. I personally did not get an opportunity to read each and every page of the document, and I'm just curious if all of my colleagues actually read the entire document through and through, including the notations where it referenced other federal documents.
I can speak to the purpose of the document, if that would help. We've always had policies and procedures in our department, but as the scope of our work has expanded, we felt that it was time to expand our policies and procedures and make sure that all of those new regulations were included as part of our document, and just wanted you all to have that to be able to see it.
In the document, it references a number of positions. Are all of those positions currently filled and currently budgeted and in place now? One of my concerns is by naming positions that we are forcing ourselves to set aside additional funds, and right now we're a little short on funds.
Those positions are all currently filled. The majority of funding for positions in grants and community development, most of those positions are grant funded. You'll often see when we post a job that it will list that this is a grant funded position, and we always let folks know when we hire that their position is in fact grant funded, and there's a chance that it would go away if those grant funds go away.
Okay, so we're not backing ourselves into a corner where we're going to have to continue. Again, being an accountant, that's probably one of the first things that I always look at, so.
Yes, no, we are not doing that by putting those in our policy.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, we're on discussion and not actually questions for Director Holden. Is that right?
Same thing.
We're on discussion,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I'm concerned about adopting this manual at this time because I asked for a fairly, what I thought to be straightforward change. And if you look at page 12 of the manual, the non-discrimination policy and language access plan states, KCGCD requires that all subrecipients, contractors, and vendors comply with federal civil rights laws and regulations. And I asked that that be modified to state, because Knox County is a subdivision of the state of Tennessee, KJCD requires that all subrecipients, contractors, and vendors comply with federal civil rights laws and regulations as interpreted by the Tennessee Attorney General. And Director Holden candidly, and I'm very grateful, responded and said, well, I don't know if we can do that. I mean, I'll quote for you what she said. Good afternoon, Commissioner Fox. I'm concerned that if we make the requested change, our policy would no longer be in compliance with federal regulations and the county's recently adopted non-discrimination ordinance. So I find that concerning because I don't think as a subdivision of the state of Tennessee, we should be taking a position that is contrary to what the Tennessee Attorney General's position is on these matters. So, I mean, I would welcome Mr. Moyer's input on this, but I think that puts us in a conundrum because on the one hand, we're saying, well, if we go along with what the Tennessee Attorney General says, we might not be in compliance with federal regulations.
Commissioner Fox, I have an amusing story about that because I'm old and I have stories. There was a time in my career when I was a much younger man when I put great stock in an Attorney General's opinion. That opinion was that the people of this county could not impose term limits through the charter. The Supreme Court disabused both the Attorney General and myself of that opinion in the middle of an election. I understand where you're coming from, but I will tell you what another judge told me one time. An Attorney General's opinion is just a lawyer's opinion. It's not the law. It is an interpretation by whoever the Attorney General is at the time. But until it is adopted by the courts, it's not the law. And so, again, my understanding of this process, which I've not been involved in, my understanding of this process is to try to comport our language with what is required to receive the grants that we wish to get from the federal government. We are in a society, as you well know, where the federal government takes money out of our individual pockets and only gives it back to us if we follow the rules that they require us to follow. And so I think that putting that at risk because of the opinion of our Attorney General, who I respect greatly, but whose opinion is not law, as I found out to my sorrow, is a dangerous thing and could cost us money at the federal level, which, again, is our individual taxpayer money coming back to us after an expensive night on the town in Washington, D.C., as William F. Buckley used to say. So I think we're in much safer ground if we stick with the language that has been proposed. That's my feeling about it.
Thank you, Mr. Moyers.
Again, that's just an opinion, just like the Attorney General.
Well, okay, but let me ask you then, Mr. Moyers. While the Tennessee Attorney General's opinion is not law unless validated by a court with respect to private citizens, with respect to extensions of the state, though, does it have a more compelling element to it?
Not really. The Attorney General's opinion, the Supreme Court says it is persuasive, and it's persuasive upon the Supreme Court because they appoint the Attorney General. But they also, and I can tell you this from my years of service on the bench, they also routinely disagree with the Attorney General. Just because they appoint him doesn't mean they agree with everything he says. So again, it provides some guidance. It is their opinion. I rely on Attorney General's opinions frequently. but I understand that they are not law. And we're talking about potentially hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars here. I would hate to put that at risk over semantics. If the Attorney General were to opine, I don't even want to make an example. I think we need to follow the law. I know the things that you're concerned about. Thus far, the courts have intervened and stopped those processes. And I think we have to trust that system. That's what it's there for, the checks and balances that we have. But the Attorney General is free to give interpretations as he wishes, but if we follow those when the courts have not adopted them, it could cost us, and that would be a concern of mine.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Moyers.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Jay had his light on before me. I'll yield to him first.
Commissioner Jay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Russell, just to follow up on your question, page 38 of the report of the handbook gives a breakdown of each of those positions and specific names of who's in those positions today. It doesn't have a denomination of what grant they go to, but I'm sure that Ms. Holden could give that to us. If Mr. Moyers, if I might mistaken, or I might just ask the chair, was it last month or the month before, didn't we take a vote to decide to add that language very specifically?
Yes.
Just this or something else?
I believe that is correct, yes.
Okay, so I feel like we've litigated this already, and we made a decision to move forward with the federal guidelines. And when, Ms. Holden, when you apply for grants, federal, state, or otherwise, we have to have a document like this, correct, to submit with our grants that show not only do we have policies and procedures, but we have people and language and blah-da-da-da-da, right?
Some grants, we actually would have to submit a copy of a policy. Some, we just say that we have that we do have policies and procedures in place. But yes, it is absolutely required.
There is a reason for this.
There is a reason,
okay,
yes.
Good. All right. I would encourage my commissioners to approve this with the language that we adopted last month and do not delay any further work by a very busy team.
Thank you. Commissioner Durrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I reiterate everything that Commissioner Jay just said, especially about we did just adopt the Knox County non-discrimination policy last month for purposes of receiving federal grants, because as Ms. Holden just stated, some of our grants require proof of that document, and some just say, do you have one, yes or no? So we voted on that. Here it is in a department-specific policy and procedure manual. So this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Director Holden, this is only Knox County Grants and Community Development's Policy and Procedures Manual.
That is correct, Commissioner.
I would like to direct my fellow commissioners' attention to page 9, item number 45 of our agenda, our spread of record of Criminal General Sessions, Criminal Division, and Fourth Circuit Court Clerk's Office Teammate Handbook. Is this basically the same thing?
It is very similar. You know, when we were looking at bringing this before you, we probably went a step further than we had to or should have by bringing it as a resolution as opposed to spread of record. That we had some questions about that. But yes, it is very similar to those same documents.
Okay. Well, that was my, not is it spread of record or resolution. It was more of along the lines of it's a handbook, right, for your department.
Yes.
A department which falls under the executive branch, right?
That is
so
correct.
why would this be on our commission agenda for the evening?
Truly, probably because we took it a step further than we needed to. We probably could have just had it as spread of record, but there was some question about that. And you know, full transparency. It is a big document, as Commissioner Russell said, and I don't think it's a bad thing for you all to get a chance to look at it and see the policies that we follow in managing these large grants.
Well, I do want to say that I appreciate you putting it on our agenda as a resolution, because it does allow us to see all of the things that this very important department does for our county. And even as you said, a lot of your employees are grant funded. And so that's not out of a Knox County dime. And so I appreciate that as well. And thank you for the hard work you do for our county.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Seeing no other, Commissioner Rawls.
Mrs. Holden, thank you, Madam Chair. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the deadline for this grant is February, correct? Was it February or is it February?
So this isn't related to a specific grant.
Okay.
This is just sort of, this is our policy for how we manage all different types of grant funds, either local funds, state, or federal.
Okay, I thought this was attached to the grant we were talking about last month.
So it is a little confusing because the non-discrimination ordinance that came before you all last month, very similar to the question that Commissioner Fox had about our policy, that was actually an HR initiative, and that one did have a February deadline.
Okay, that was my question.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, the motion to approve was made by Commissioner Jay, a second by Commissioner Durrett. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you, Ms. Holden. Next item, please.
Item number 52, discussion and approval of fiscal year 2025 legislative priorities to be submitted to the Knox County State Delegation for consideration.
A motion on the floor by Commissioner Hill.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Durrett. Any discussion? Commissioner Durrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, Commissioners, these are the priorities that were before us last week that the Legislative Affairs Committee has kind of slimmed down a bit to get to our legislators, our Tennessee delegation tomorrow morning at our breakfast. We will go through each one of these tomorrow morning. And with that, I ask for your approval.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Commissioner Jackson?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the commission, I mean, we have an election that occurs next week, you know, and in 2 more years, I know that this got put on the agenda several months ago and no issues there, but next time we may have had a whole bunch of, you know, retirements. So we could have had, you know, a whole bunch of new legislators. So next time we do this, I would suggest that we do it in November or December after the election is over.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson?
Just want to let everybody know that open enrollment is going on right now. I thank you thank you, Madam Chair, for the recognition. And I just want to thank Commissioner Durrett for passing the torch for the Insurance and Benefits Committee. I will make the announcement that open enrollment is open. So.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We do have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Durrett, or Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Durrett. Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a reminder to everybody as well, we're meeting with our legislative team tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So this is what we're discussing with them.
Anybody else? Okay. Motion on the floor by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Durrett. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item 53, discussion item regarding 2025 County Government Day on the Hill.
Commissioner Durrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I asked Madam Chair to add this as we were at our County Services Association conference last week, and they, the board gave me the dates for our 2025 County Government Day on the Hill, where we go to Nashville to speak with our legislators, and that's February 17th and 18th. But also, if you will look in front of you, you will see that Madam Chair is ahead of schedule, along with our illustrious Assistant Drew, who has already included that and changed the date. So that's really all I was worried about, because originally February 17th, which is a Monday, would have been our zoning meeting.
Yes. Thank you very much. And yes, thank you to Drew for helping me work on that. If everybody will jot down some items I thought of importance that you needed to know. Tomorrow morning is the legislative breakfast. I do believe that all the legislators will be there. It will be at 8 o'clock at Visit Knoxville, and you can park at the Crown Plaza, and Visit Knoxville will be able to validate your parking. So please try to make that. It's a great opportunity. The Emergency Management Tour is scheduled for November 21st from 1 to 2 p.m. You will find that on your emails with the location. The McNabb breakfast is December 18th. That was also sent to commissioners at 8 a.m., 200 Tech Center Drive. We will be having a training date / retreat on January 14th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. We will be in the conference room, and we will be ordering a box dinner. So please try to be at that. We will have different departments come speak to us, sort of what we would do in a retreat. Instead of doing it in a 2-day retreat, we're going to just kind of hit the highlights and hit it on January 14th. December 16th is Wreaths Across America. That's when they'll be laying them, so I thought that was important for you guys to know. Sheriff Spangler's Holiday Lunch is open to everybody, and that's November 22nd from 11:30 to 1. Nick McBride also has a very large breakfast, but I have not been able to get the date on that. But as soon as I do, I'll let everybody know. That's always a huge turnout. And if you will go ahead and mark down on your calendar, you have from January to August of commission times. But for November, it will be November 18th and 25th due to Thanksgiving. And December will be 9th and 16th. So again, that's November 18th and 25th, and then December 9th and 16th. And then you guys have the rest of the agenda. For the new ones, if you've not been able to be at Day on the Hill, it's really a good opportunity to be down there, see how everything works, meet the representatives on down Nashville. So please try to make that. I think that's it. Who else has any business that you want to, any other information? Commissioner Frazier? Oh, okay. Commissioner Hill.
Thank you. I would encourage any of you that have nothing else happening on November 2nd, that is a Saturday morning, to come and join the Hardin Valley Business and Community Alliance and myself and Commissioner Frazier, and occasionally Commissioner Jay shows up to Keep Hardin Valley Beautiful. Will be our semi-annual litter pickup. And the exciting thing about this is that we have over 100 people participate. We have sports teams that come out from the schools to get community service hours and become a part of this. So it's really, it's a fun event, plus it's really helpful for the community. So please come and join us.
Thank you. Commissioner Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You said November 18th and 25th. What were those dates for?
No, it's November 18th and 25th. That's for our commission meetings. Beer board
so
and
it's
zoning.
not the 10th and 17th?
No, it'll be the 18th and 25th.
Okay. So it's not what's on the calendar?
That's for next year. I think she's gone through next. Did you go through next year, Drew, on November? Yeah, that's for next year's calendar.
Okay. Thank you.
On the calendar that you all have, the printout starts in January, goes through December of next year. So, Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a reminder, early voting ends on the 31st. Election Day is November 5th. Encourage all registered voters, get out and exercise your right. Let your voice be heard. And then also November 7th, just a reminder, that is the Commission Continuing Ed Workshop, 3 to 4:30 on the 6th floor Commission Conference Room.
Perfect. Seeing no other business to come before Knox County Commission, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second, and we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Have a good evening.